I like the matchup.
First of all, because he didn't have the power to knock his opponents out. He didn't have the power to submit them. He's just a fighter who has a lot of volume, you know, he throws a lot of punches. Yeah, he got a great cardio, but...
As a fighting, you are sure you're going to knock him out. Where does that confidence come from?
Because I know what I'm able to do inside that octagon. I know about my power, my skills, my technique, my fight.
Ilia Topuria is a cool guy, but I kind of disagree. I know for sure Islam Makhachev is not a freak. I'll tell you this, as a person that's a friend of Islam, a person that's known Islam for years and years, he's not afraid of him. So while Ilia Topuria may strike some fear in most, or some, Islam's not afraid of him. Now, honestly, I'll be honest with you, like, neither is Justin Gaethje, neither is Charles Oliveira, neither is Dustin Poirier or Michael Chandler. Those guys aren't afraid of each other. They're fighters. And when you're a fighter, fear is kind of the last thing that crosses your mind in regards to another fighter, especially if all you have to do is fight them.
Before we get started, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss any major fight updates. Let's jump right into it. Daniel Cormier didn't hold back as he addressed both UFC fans and Ilia Topuria, stating, "This is exactly what Islam Makhachev wanted all along." Ilia Topuria had sparked the conversation during his explosive appearance on MMA Sing, where he accused elite fighters like Islam Makhachev and Charles Oliveira of avoiding him. He even took a verbal jab at Oliveira during a recent press conference. However, Cormier, a former champion and respected voice in the MMA world, quickly shut down that narrative. He challenged Topuria's accusations and gave insight into the mindset of elite-level fighters, insisting that fear simply doesn't factor into their decision-making.
Ilia Topuria has been something else. Ever since the moment he announced that he was going up to 155, clearly, because he's such a big star, people will start to talk about him. But ultimately, it was a lot of people talking before, and he didn't have much to say. But lately, Ilia Topuria has had a lot to say. Ilia Topuria is phenomenal. Let's call it what it is. He's a great fighter. He's undefeated. He's a world champion. He knocks people out. He really has become a true star.
Cormier pointed out that even with his dominant performances in title fights, Islam Makhachev might still feel overlooked. He brought attention to the emotional weight top fighters often carry and highlighted that any remarks coming from Khabib Nurmagomedov about Islam should be taken with full seriousness, because Khabib doesn't speak lightly or without purpose.
That's how these guys operate. Islam has title fight victories, but they're Volkanovski, huge name of the featherweight, Dustin Poirier, name, right? And he probably felt the love after Renato Moicano, right? On short notice. So of his 4 fights, there are a lot of situations where he just didn't probably feel the love. And if you're trying to build a legacy, you got to feel that love. The update should not feel good for people.
Cormier also discussed the potential clash between Islam Makhachev and Ilia Topuria, calling it one of the most intriguing possible matchups currently in the UFC, with both athletes reigning as champions in their respective divisions. Islam at lightweight and Topuria at featherweight. He said this fight would answer a lot of questions, especially from critics who continue to downplay Islam's level of competition. For Cormier, this isn't just another title defense. It's a defining moment that could elevate both legacies, and he believes that if this fight materializes, it has the potential to become one of the most important bouts in UFC history.
I don't know that Islam should fight him first. For Makhachev, he goes and beats Ilia Topuria, right? People will say he beat Volk, he beat Ilia Topuria, Charles Oliveira, Renato Moicano. Seems pretty good. That's 5 title fight wins. But in that, it would say, well, he's defended the belt 3 times against featherweights. Because at the end of the day, guys, it doesn't matter what you do or in high regard you hold someone. The fact that he was the champion in a lower weight class is what's going to be pointed to the moment Islam beats him. Because anytime you have a dominant champ, anytime, you look for reasons to discredit them.
As someone close to Islam Makhachev and a longtime UFC commentator, Cormier emphasized that fear doesn't play any role in how Islam approaches opponents. He pointed out that top-level athletes like Islam are dialed into preparation and technique, not fear or doubt. He reminded viewers that Makhachev has never shied away from challenges, even stepping up on short notice when needed. The idea that he's dodging Topuria isn't based in reality. It's simply about choosing the right timing and opportunities.
Islam Makhachev, the lightweight champion of the world, one of the greatest fighters of all time, and the number one pound fighter in the world. Rumors are coming out that he said no to a fight with Ilia Topuria. They feel he needs to do something first. What do you make of that when you first hear it? Like, he doesn't want to fight Topuria just yet, at least.
My first sense is that's fake news. And it's a real insult to Ilia, to Islam. I don't believe that Islam's scared to fight anybody. I think the evidence of that fact would be the fact that he switched opponents, took on Money Moicano with no training camp, no preparation, just because it's the right thing to do.
Cormier acknowledged that even if Islam beats Topuria, some critics might still refuse to give him credit. He explained that there's a narrative forming that Islam's title defenses lack weight because several of his challengers have been featherweights. Even with massive wins over elite fighters like Charles Oliveira and Alexander Volkanovski, Cormier says there will always be skeptics who aim to discredit Islam's legacy, no matter the outcome.
Daniel Cormier predicts consequence of Islam Makhachev versus Ilia Topuria fight. Daniel Cormier thinks that the UFC really makes Islam Makhachev versus Ilia Topuria fight, and if Makhachev ends up being victorious, then fans will say that his title run wasn't anything special because he beat featherweights like Topuria and Alexander Volkanovski.
For Makhachev, he goes and beats Ilia Topuria. People will say he beat Volk, he beat Ilia Topuria, he beat Charles Oliveira, Renato Moicano. That's 5 title fight wins. But in that, it would say, well, he's defended the belt 3 times against featherweights. Because anytime you have a dominant champ, anytime, you look for reasons to discredit them. Happens all the time.
Responding to Topuria's public call-out of Makhachev, Cormier made it clear, Islam isn't running from anyone, including Ilia. He stressed that Islam has already proven himself against elite opponents and has never backed down from a real threat. To Cormier, Topuria's bold challenge feels more like a publicity move to boost his own name rather than a situation where Islam is being evasive. Fighters like Makhachev, he insists, are locked in on their craft, their strategies, and the big picture, not rumors about ducking fights.
Like, I mean, come on, man. Come on. Ilia Topuria is a cool guy. But I kind of disagree. I know for sure Islam Makhachev is not afraid of him. I'll tell you this, as a person that's a friend of Islam, a person that's known Islam for years and years and years, he's not afraid of him. So while Ilia Topuria may strike some fear in most, or some, Islam's not afraid of him. And honestly, I'll be honest with you, like, neither is Justin Gaethje, neither is Charles Oliveira, neither is Dustin Poirier or Michael Chandler. Those guys aren't afraid of each other. They're fighters. And when you're a fighter, fear is kind of the last thing that crosses your mind in regards to another fighter, especially if all you have to do is fight them. Now, do you get a little bit concerned at times that somebody might shoot you? Of course. It's not a street fight. You go into an octagon with rules that you're going to fight. So fear is the last thing that these guys...
Cormier continued his analysis of the Islam versus Topuria matchup and admitted that, despite Topuria's undefeated run and high-profile victories, the fight is unlikely to happen soon. He aligned with Khabib's stance that fighting Topuria does little to further Islam's legacy. Instead, Cormier argued that someone like Justin Gaethje, based on rankings and fighting style, presents a more meaningful challenge. Islam's grappling expertise and octagon experience, he added, would likely be too much for Topuria to handle at this stage.
There has been, since Ilia vacated his championship, Islam doesn't want to fight him. Islam said he's not fighting him. Topuria saying he has a title fight. Topuria saying he was promised a title fight. There has been so much that has come with a fight that hasn't been signed, that hasn't been announced, that if announced would be tremendous.
Cormier elaborated on why Makhachev turned down the Topuria fight, stating that Islam is more focused on his long-term legacy than on entertaining every call-out. While Topuria is clearly talented, Cormier feels he hasn't proven enough against top-tier competition at lightweight to justify the matchup. He even issued a strong warning to Topuria. Islam would likely dominate that fight. From grappling pressure to championship experience, Cormier listed the areas where Islam would hold a clear advantage.
I'm grappling with Islam once and I try to throw him off of me, but he's still there. And so I give him a little harder shove and he's still there. Next thing you know, I'm grappling at 100% because the dude's dead.
Ilia Topuria is a cool guy. But I kind of disagree. Well, I know for sure Islam Makhachev is not a freak. I'll tell you this as a person that's a friend of Islam, a person that's known Islam for years and years. He's not a.
Daniel Cormier just told Ilia Topuria not to fight Islam Makhachev because he thinks Ilia can't handle Islam's wrestling. Daniel did say that Islam Makhachev wants to leave a legacy, but hasn't always felt appreciated. He also said that fans looking for a fight with Ilia Topuria might be let down because Khabib's team only get.
Doubling down, Cormier advised Topuria to reconsider going after Islam. He pointed to Topuria's style and suggested it's not suited to dealing with a fighter like Makhachev. Islam's fight IQ and elite grappling make him a bad matchup for Topuria, especially considering the move up in weight. According to Cormier, Topuria is walking into dangerous territory by calling out Islam, and if the fight happens, he expects Islam to take full control.
I like the matchup.
First of all, because he didn't have the power to knock his opponents out. He didn't have the power to submit them. He's just a fighter who has a lot of volume, you know, he throws a lot of punches. Yeah, he got a great cardio, but...
As a fighting, you are sure you're going to knock him out. Where does that confidence come from?
Because I know what I'm able to do inside that octagon. I know about my power, my skills, my technique, my fight.
Cormier also addressed how Islam's legacy could be impacted by fighting someone moving up from a lower division. He noted that fans and critics are quick to dismiss the achievements of champions who face opponents from lighter weight classes. To secure a more universally respected legacy, Cormier argued, Islam needs more defenses against top-ranked lightweights who've already proven themselves in the division.
Him versus Islam is kind of a fight that you almost expect whenever you have a guy like the champion going up to another weight class and have a dominant champion that's beaten so many guys in that weight class that he's going up to. I don't know that Islam should fight him first. Makhachev, he goes and beats Ilia Topuria. That's 5 title fight wins, but in that it would say, well, he's defended the belt 3 times against featherweight. Because at the end of the day, guys, it doesn't matter what you do or in high regard you hold someone. The fact that he was the champion in the lower weight class is what's going to be pointed to, because anytime you have a dominant champ, you look for reasons to discredit them.
Do you think beating another featherweight would hurt Islam's legacy?
During the UFC 315 press conference, Cormier weighed in once again on the potential fight between Makhachev and Topuria. He acknowledged Topuria's growing popularity, but stated that Islam is only interested in matchups that genuinely enhance his career and legacy. He also explained how current title scenarios and the UFC's stance on preventing simultaneous 2-division champions complicate things. Cormier believes that as these upcoming title fights unfold, the picture will become clearer on whether Topuria truly makes sense as Makhachev's next opponent. He also shared a story from the gym, recalling a time when he underestimated Islam's strength during a training session. Cormier assumed he could shake off the smaller man, but Islam didn't budge, even as the pressure increased. That moment, he said, revealed the raw strength and balance Islam brings into the octagon.
There's been moments where we're in practice and I'm going with Khabib or Islam and I'm the big guy. So generally, a smaller guy gets on top of you. When you decide it's over, you just throw him off you. No technique, no skills. You just literally grab him and you kind of throw him off you. I'm grappling with Islam once and I try to throw him off of me, but he's still there. And so I give him a little harder shove and he's still there. Next thing you know, I'm grappling at 100% because the dude's that strong. But again, I had never really grappled with him in that way, like at a decent pace. So I didn't recognize the strength when he was trying to keep me down.
Cormier circled back to explain why Islam isn't taking the Topuria fight right now. He said it simply doesn't help build Islam's legacy at this point. Topuria is a proven featherweight, but he hasn't faced the Sharks at lightweight yet. In Cormier's view, Islam is making a smart move, avoiding a high-risk, low-reward situation. It's not about dodging danger. It's about focusing on what makes sense for his career and growth as a champion.
Fighting Alexander Volkanovski, who at the time was #1 pound for pound. Islam's 2, Alex is 1. Islam beats him. And then we had this weird, like, Alex and Islam was #1 pound for pound. And Islam was like, wait, give me what you said I was going to get. The world then said, why do you want that? You beat a 45 pound. Then he was supposed to fight Charles Oliveira. Oliveira gets hurt. In jumps Alexander Volkanovski. He beats him. The world goes, well, he didn't do anything. He just beat a featherweight. That right there is what makes me feel if he said no to the fight. Because then you have Islam Makhachev that has beat Charles for the belt. He beat Volkanovski, Dustin Poirier, Money Moicano. 5 title fights. In fact, 3 of them will be against featherweight.
13. Here. Shifting focus, Cormier turned the spotlight back on Ilia Topuria. He criticized Topuria for being too selective with his opponents, calling him out for not wanting to fight tough contenders like Brian Ortega or Max Holloway, unless a special title was on the line. Cormier raised an important question. Should champions be allowed to cherry-pick their matchups? He warned that if Topuria keeps dancing around real contenders and doesn't make his next move clear, fans may stop viewing him as a legitimate champion.
Is that you need the name that comes from the generation before. Ilia seems to be taking another approach. I don't know exactly what it is, though, because he said he wasn't going to fight Brian Ortega. He said he wasn't going to fight Max Holloway, and now it sounds like he's not wanting to fight Alexander Volkanovski again. Those are the names from the featherweight past. He doesn't seem to want to fight those guys. I don't know when looking at those rankings who would be next. Now, he's agreed to fight Max Holloway. He said Max Holloway has something very valuable to him at the BMF championship. He'll fight Max, but only if Max's BMF title is on the line too. Ilia Topuria is the champ, and as the champ, at times, you have some say into who you're going to fight, when you're going to fight him, when you're ready, and all that. I don't know, though, if he has as much say in this as he thinks he does. It's just weird, right? Like, he's not telling us what's next, but he's saying no to a lot of things that can be right now. And I don't know that you can do that.
So what are your thoughts on this situation? Drop your opinions down in the comments and let us know where you stand. If you enjoyed the video, give it a like and don't forget to subscribe.